On December 30th, the two sides met on the battlefield of Murfreesboro at Stones River. While the fighting between the two sides would basically be brief, a misunderstanding of the situation led to several days of fighting between the two sides. What blunders in the first days would Rosecrans make, and would it cost him the ultimate victory against Bragg? All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. General Braxton Bragg. General Braxton Bragg was a chronically ill 45-year-old man. He was tall, with a coal black beard, with steel gray accents that gave him an appearance of a grizzled soldier. Bragg was an 1837 graduate of the Military Academy and had served during the Mexico War of 1846 to 1848 with distinction. Many of the officers on both sides of the Civil War had served with Bragg during the Mexico War. But none of this helped Bragg to win admiration or respect from his men. They viewed him in a completely different light. Bragg was considered to be a very strict disciplinarian and would readily impose the death penalty upon those found guilty of desertion. Shortly before the Battle of Stones River, Bragg had exerted his authority over one of John C. Breckinridge's men. The officers serving under Bragg had the opinion that, quote, Bragg was quite adept at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, unquote. They dared to question Bragg's methods of handling the Battle of Perryville all the way up to the Confederate President Jefferson Davis. The officers felt that they had won at Perryville and needed an explanation as to why Bragg had the Confederate Army to retreat to Tennessee. To add salt to the bleeding wound, Bragg would have words with former USA Vice President and now Major General John C. Breckinridge. This fight would be over the men serving from the state of Kentucky. Bragg questioned their loyalty to the Confederate cause because the state did not embrace their liberation, as Bragg put it. During the month that Bragg's men were stationed around Murfreesboro, he was called to stand in front of President Davis to answer the charges. He remained as general and was allowed to proceed. All of this caused the troops serving under Bragg to feel unease and tension. And they were watching, as just 30 miles north of them, the Union Army was gaining troops and supplies for an upcoming battle. The Battle of December 30th, 1862. Going into battle, General Rosecrans was in charge of about 43,400 troops to General Bragg's 35,000 troops. Even though the numbers did favor the Union, Bragg had the advantage of the cavalry commands of Forrest and Morgan. Also, Wheeler's cavalry had dramatically slowed the Union forces with his constant raids while they were on the march south. Adding to this, Rosecrans did not realize the condition of Bragg's troops when he first came into the Murfreesboro area. Bragg's left flank was weak. If Rosecrans had used this to his advantage, he could have turned left, went around the left flank, and basically walked into the town of Murfreesboro. But Bragg was smart in that he was able to keep the troop numbers away from Rosecrans and hide the true strength of his army. Rosecrans ordered McCook's troops to maintain the skirmish line, meant to probe the Confederate line. Rosecrans also noticed that Bragg's left flank was weak, so he ordered McCook's troops to build campfires extending a great distance from the men. This was so it would look like the Union Army had more men than they did on the Confederate left flank. While this was a good idea to deceive Rosecrans' opponent, he greatly underestimated Bragg's reaction. General Bragg ordered McCown's division to transfer to the left to support Wheeler's troops. Then, Bragg ordered Cleburne's troops from the east of the river to the extreme left. This left General Hardee to assume the command of the area. Bragg's orders came for the bulk of Hardee's corps and the cavalry under Brigadier General John A. Wharton to go across the river to the Confederate left flank and prepare for the next morning's attack, which left Major General Breckinridge's detached division alone on the high ground to defend the Murfreesboro side of Stones River. Captain Warren P. Egerton's Battery E, 1st Ohio's Artillery Regiment of the Cannoneers, held their own during the battle against the Confederate artillery and infantry. Rosecrans battle plans. Because both generals had basically the same battle plan, with each side equally matched to the other, the advantage would go likely to the side who attacked first. Seizing an opportunity, Rosecrans ordered Crittenden to attack the Confederate right flank at 7 a.m. on December 31st. The intention of Rosecrans was to have Crittenden cross the eastern part of Stones River and attack the heights. Rosecrans planned on the attack by Crittenden on the Confederate right would be swift and so strong that McCook's men would be able to defend off what was left of the attackers on the Confederate left. That the distraction would cause the Confederates to scramble and strengthen the right flank. However, Major General Philip Sheridan, commander of McCook's 3rd Division, and Brigadier General Joshua Seal, one of Sheridan's brigade commanders, saw the danger because of the amount of troops that were massing at their front. McCook, having confidence in his commanding officer, gave little credence to what the commanders was telling him that was happening. Feeling that McCook was not taking the danger seriously, Sheridan had his division up before daylight. He had them to form their lines and ready themselves for an inevitable attack. Brigadier Generals Richard W. Johnson and Jefferson C. Davis, McCook's other 2 division commanders, took Rosecrans' predictions to heart and did nothing to prepare themselves for an attack. Conversely, Bragg thought that the main Union thrust of the battle would come against his right flank. At daybreak, Bragg ordered McCown to assault McCook's men to get the upper hand. The underestimation of Rosecrans gave Bragg the opportunity he needed. The Confederate troops came down upon the Union troops like a sledgehammer with a swift and mighty staggering blow. In next week's video, we will begin the Battle of Stones River on December 31st, 1862, or the official first day of the battle between Bragg and Rosecrans. Which of the identical battle plans would win the day, or would it be a stalemate? Thank you. Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the Appalachian Civil War battles. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. Please be sure to double check that you are subscribed, as some of our viewers are finding that they are no longer subscribed to our channel. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.